welcome to episode 3 of the Coach Diaries, where I reflect, deep dive into my coach's brain, performance around my team, and everything in between. So something cool to show you before I dive into any of that, though, is I'm testing out my new mic. So hopefully it works. Bit of ASMR for you. But anywho, you might notice that I have some trophies. I actually have 3 today. So every week we do a magpie mentality moment of the match, and this week I'm happy to report that we won our game. It was 26-18 against the Bulldogs. Very gritty win from our girls, and having experienced 3 quite large losses over rounds 1 to 3, this win felt really good. And first win in new colours, so that was also a lot sweeter too. But every week there is a magpie mentality moment of the match, and these are moments that I've set a vision for since I've moved to Wenty, of the standards that we are trying to uphold and reach, and behaviours and habits and things that we want to be striving for as a flock. And so there's been one moment for every week, including trials. And this week there were 3 distinct moments in the game. So I couldn't split it. I'm doing 3. And you might be thinking, oh, it's just a little toy trophy. Why does it really matter? These are all little things, little accolades, little gimmicks that help to drive a positive culture, in my opinion. And I'm not a nonchalant coach. I like to celebrate everything. I like to acknowledge everything. And I like to sit in the full vibrancy of wins, losses, love, joy, heartbreak, all of the above. So this one little thing, in my opinion, has a big impact over the long term. So they usually get a nickname. We have had in the past the High Flyer, we've had the Silent Assassin, we've had the Terminator, and the 3 for this week, we have the Top Dog, we've got the Bowling Ball, and we have the Barnstormer. So I'm really excited, really keen to present these tonight, because we had a massive shift in our mentality this week. A massive shift in our mentality and our want and our hunger and our relentlessness to get after the game. And we spoke about it at the start, that there were certain attributes, certain habits, certain behaviors that you can act on in the game that require no talent. And it required everybody's effort, everybody contributing, everybody pushing towards the same direction. And to be able to see that for a lot of the parts of the game made me really satisfied as a coach. This week was a roller coaster of a game. There were moments where I was screaming my little heart out, actually my big heart out. There were moments where I was furious. There were moments where I was riding the disappointment of the referee's decisions. Not that I have control over them, not that any of us have control over them. And that's part of our learnings as a squad too, especially with the median age getting younger and younger. A lot of squads have girls that are 19, 20, 21, some even younger. And if you haven't experienced that stimulus where you do need to bounce back, where you do need to demonstrate resilience, where you do need to fight some sort of internal demon or external demon, it's very challenging to experience the high, to celebrate, acknowledge, and appreciate the wins. So the fact that we, and when I say we, I mean the team, have had 3 weeks of large losses, it really has allowed us to, and allowed me to, lean into the faith of trusting in what I do, trusting in my capability as a coach, because certainly last week I was questioning myself, whether what I was doing was working, whether it was having an impact, and that's only natural, to question, to doubt, to wonder. And I'm so, so glad that I followed my own advice, and that was keep showing up, keep doing the work, take on the loss as feedback, take on the losses as lessons. And now that we have found a breadcrumb, a couple of breadcrumbs of success, it's about highlighting those. It's about magnifying those. It's about making those the focus of where we need to get better. Because I'm very big on what you focus on expands. And whilst I can go in tonight to review and highlight some areas of improvement, it by no means will be negative. It will be constructive. It will be redirecting feedback or reinforcing feedback. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, it still is all feedback. And after the losses, the process was allow yourself to feel it for the 24 hours, 48 hours before we come back to training on Monday. We then watch review, we identify the areas that we need to get better at, or where we are already doing well, and then we flush it and take what we need to and leave what we don't. So will my process change as I set the vision coming into this week? No. Because we can absolutely acknowledge the win. We can absolutely acknowledge the hard work that was on show yesterday, on the weekend. And you best believe that what I'm going to focus on is all of the areas of improvement. All of the areas that the flock really stamped their mindset this week. Because this week was not, you can be physically superior, right? And generally, excuse my dog. But once you get to semi-professional, professional, elite, it's less about the gap between skill levels. And it's actually more about how mentally strong you are, how you can mentally bounce back from failures, from drop balls, from missed tackles, from tries being scored on you. It's more about how you respond, how proactive you can be. And this week, I am very satisfied that the team had the mental fortitude and the resilience and the tenacity to be able to come out on top. So we'll acknowledge our improvements tonight. We will give praise where praise is due. There were some great performances on the weekend, which is partly why there are 3 of these as well. And then we flush it. We take what we need to. We build on what we need to. We let go of also what we don't. And we use it as fuel to get after it this week. Because it's my job as the head coach to keep them accountable, to keep them striving for more, not to get comfortable or complacent or satisfied with just the one win. But it is a fine line between acknowledging the win and also acknowledging that there is lots of work to still do. So I'm very excited for that. And, you know, something else that was really exciting that happened to me over the weekend was I got a call to be invited to be a head coach for the NRLW Rising Invitational camp, which is happening at the end of July. For context, what this camp is they pull in 4 teams of 17 elite athletes, or these players that have been identified as elite athletes that are not contracted yet in the NRLW, and they get put through a camp. They play a round robin style at the end of it, and this all aligns with the NRLW Magic Round in Wagga Wagga, so that these athletes can be put in front of NRLW recruitment. And I have the opportunity to be the head of one of these 4 teams. So I'm stoked. I'm so stoked about that. I have not told many of the flock yet. I will be announcing that tonight. But luckily it does fall on a week. It falls on a no play weekend. So I will only be absent from 2 sessions of training. And I have a wonderful team that supports me, that can really steer the ship in the right direction and step up and step in when I need it and when I request it. So I'm really fortunate, really lucky, and I'm feeling very grateful about having this opportunity. And it does mean that Peaches will go to the babysitter, to the pet sitter, for 5 nights, because I've been briefed that it is intense, but in that all I could hear was, what a freaking cool opportunity, dude. What an amazing opportunity I have been given. So some really exciting stuff coming out of camp, Renee and the Coach Diaries this week. So if you are interested in coaching, running, if you're interested in side quests, I make butter and frequently post up about my butter escapades. But really, if you're someone that is looking to enjoy the chaotic ride and journey to excellence, I am probably one of your people. So subscribe for more, and I will see you on the next time of the Coach Diaries.